Welcome listeners to episode 30 of the Running Guy podcast, where I aim to provide informative content and interviews with elite athletes and health professionals from around the world, like in today's episode, where I'm chatting to an Aussie female who's represented Australia at the inaugural Commonwealth Half Marathon Championships in Cardiff 2018 and World Cross in Denmark 2019 that has recently turned her attention to the marathon. Welcome to the Running Guy podcast, Marnie Ponton. How you going, Marnie?
Really good. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on the show.
Pretty hot up there. You live up in Glenbrook, which is at the Lower Blue Mountains. Is that right?
Yeah, I do. I live base of the mountains. So glorified Penrith, and it's really hot today.
Yeah,
40 degrees.
Yeah, it's very hot. Yeah, it's pretty much hot all around Australia at the moment. They're talking about getting 50s in some parts, but yes, not pretty. It's actually pretty early to get that sort of heat. I don't know. Do you think it's a bit early at the end of November to be getting that heat already? I thought it was normally January.
Yeah, like December through January. Yeah, look, I can't pick the weather these days. Like, it's just crazy. But my aim is to get out now, so then I'm acclimatized because I can't see it cooling down. I can only see it getting hotter.
Yeah, for sure. Did you get out early to get your run done?
Yeah, I was out at 6:45 and this morning. So you don't have that blaring heat. You just have the crazy humidity. But I think it'll be early morning starts from now on.
Now, you work shift work as a nurse at the Nepean Hospital, is that right?
Yeah, nurse practitioner in emergency. So a bit different, but I shift work. So I mainly work evenings, so like 2:30 to 11 and pick up a few mornings here and there. But yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. Busy schedule being a mum as well and preparing to run marathons. You must have time management pretty good.
Yeah, most definitely. It's just we're pretty structured. We just we get it all done. Not a lot of socializing. I think that's probably the one thing that gets cut away.
Yeah. I mean, when I think about some of the girls at the top at the moment in Australian distance running, the marathoning, they're working mums as well. So I guess you're all a tough breed, which is helpful as a distance runner.
Yeah, well, I think you kind of have to be, don't you, if you want to run marathons? You've got to be a bit tough. But look, I enjoy going. I love running, so it's kind of you're out doing something that you love, so it's not that hard.
Look, let's start with running through your PBs, and you can just tell us about any details you can remember about these events. Some of them going back a fair way. So, starting with the 800 meters.
I knew you were going to say this. I was trying to think,
well, it's on
you got to tell me
IAAF.
the year and the location, and then I might be able to remember something.
Exactly. So down here in Canberra, it was a 2:09.97, January 2007.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot, but I think it must have been an interclub meet, and I remember I was 2007. I must have been a teenager, but I remember being very happy to get under 2:10, and sure. I don't think I've run an 800 since, to be honest.
Yeah. Was you running many 800s then?
Look, when I was under 20, I was doing a heap of steeplechasing. So obviously you cross over and do those middle distance events, so 15 and 8. So it just would, not too many 8s, but it just would have been one of those interclub meets just to, get out and get a race. But it was during my steeplechase days for sure. I definitely don't have that speed now, I don't reckon.
Yeah, for sure. Look, we might jump to that 3,000 metre steeplechase PB. 10:08.54, and that was that year in Sydney, February 2007.
I think I've run a 10:03 in a mixed race, but I'll go 10:08.
Sure.
But my aim always with the steeple was to get under that 10, which I didn't do, and I think that probably time has passed. Look, not a lot of memories on the 10:08, but I remember 10:03 in a mixed race and just, working really hard in that steeple. It's just like climbing a mountain. It's just really high anaerobic, like aerobic kind of working. You're just hurting. It's just like doing a whole lot of back squats.
Sounds pretty. All right, let's head back to the 1500 then. 4:30.59 again down here in Canberra, November 2006.
That would have been I reckon that would have been an interclub meet again, and just getting out, having a race on the weekend because I remember when I was a teenager in Canberra, there would always, every weekend during the track season there would be a club race on, an interclub race on, so you'd just jump on the track and go for a run, and lots of great athletes during that time. But I think I could probably run quicker than 4:30 now, fingers crossed.
Okay. Who were you running for when you were running the clubs?
I ran for Ginninderra Little Athletic. I remember a lot of the other guys like M Brick and that ran for Western. But yeah, I think Ginninderra probably had a senior club or North Canberra. North Canberra is who I ran for. That's it.
Okay.
John Harding.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
All right. 3,000 metres, 9:13:86. Sydney, 2017 October.
Yeah, I remember that. That was the race I ran with against Paige, and she was leading, and I had a good old sprint for the finish, and she still beat me, but it was that was a massively enjoyable run. That's all I remember about that, is going through the laps, just the big grin on my face and really enjoying, you know, when you're just running and you feel good and you know you're going to have a good day. I remember that 3,000 PB being that feeling, and just knowing that it was going to be, you know, a solid run, and I was going to be happy by the end of it.
Was it much under your previous PB?
I think it probably was. I think I probably hadn't run much quicker than 9:20 previous. So yeah, it was, and I just remember it being a really enjoyable run, just when everything clicks and you feel good, and it's just it's a good day.
So you were just shoulder to shoulder with Paige the whole way? That's what sort of brought the best out of you, or was it a bit of a cat and mouse? Or
there was a few of us, and we were all running around, and then I remember the paces went out, but I decided to go just ahead of the paces, and we just ran. And so I was leading for a bit, and then Paige pulled away, and then I tried for a sprint finish, but she'd pulled too far by that stage, and I couldn't catch her.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that day I was meant to. I didn't know they had pre-organised paces, and I just went out and did my thing, and I didn't realise that I was probably meant to sit behind the paces, because no one let me know that they had organised any. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right, a couple of months later, December 2017, up there in Sydney, 5,000 metres in 16:02:29.
Yeah, that was in the rain. I think that was possibly state. It was a state champs. And that run, I think it was Jenny Blundell. She was coming back to running, so she wasn't in her full form that she is capable of. And we ran. Literally, I led the majority of the way, just the two of us, and there was no one else in it. And once again, it was a sprint finish, and I was pleased with the time, but definitely want to get under that 16.
So you're still hoping to get under 16? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
Cool.
We're working on that. Working on the 5 to 10, just
Fantastic.
So you know, preparation for running a faster marathon.
Definitely. All right, let's get to the 10. 33, 39, 96, Zatopek again at 2017. So it must have been pretty close to that 5,000 metre.
You know what? I didn't know what my PB on the track was, because every 10K I've run on the track I've been so really disappointed with my effort, because I think you run on the track and you're going to run faster than what you would on the road, right? And every time I've gone around in that 10K, it's like a vice. It's just defeated me every time. So that would have been one of the Zatopeks that I ran, and I don't have any great feelings that I've had running at Zatopek, because I feel like I haven't performed to the best of my ability in those races. So I think I remember being disappointed, but yeah.
Okay.
It's probably not a good one. Yeah. On the road, I've run 33, I don't know, 33:10, and that had much more better memories attached to it.
Yeah, we'll get to that. 33:12 on the Goldie. But let's, actually, we can do that now, because I've already spoken about 3,000 metre steeplechase. So, yeah, 10K on the road, 33:12 on the Goldie, 2018. Tell us about that.
Oh, that was, you know what, that was when I had just, I'd made the move to Dick Telford. And so I'd been with him for a couple of months. Just a couple of months. So it was one of the first races that I did training under him. And I just, had a blinder. I just felt great, and I just ran really well. And I was, I think Caitlin Adams, I think I came second. Caitlin Adams third, and Malin Herner Hills, she won the event. Okay. But she was far in front, because she decided to she did it really strange. She did a 5K full out, had a break, had 10 seconds off or 15 seconds off or more, I'm not too sure, and then did a second 5K. It was
Okay.
She used it as training. It was strange, but yeah, that's what she did, and I remember coming second, but I was pretty pumped to get a PB. So
Yeah.
I love running on the Gold Coast. I always do.
Yeah, no, it's great. Now, we won't go too much in the details about this one because I'm going to talk further about it, but your half marathon, 72:21, over there in Cardiff last year, October 2019.
Yep. So that was, again, I'd had like some good solid training under, like I was used to Dick's program by now and getting, had some good solid training under him. And I remember he just said, the way he does, he says, ride the red line, puff not as hard as a 10K. When you get 7K to go, it's better to be passing girls than being passed. So that's exactly what I did. I didn't look at my watch. I just ran. And that was one of those days that just felt really, really good. And I was with some girls toward the end that made me push pretty hard, and had the guys at the start because it was that race they did with as a community event as well. So there was a lot of B grade men there that supported me at the beginning, and that was a really enjoyable race. It was one of my favourites.
Yeah, we'll go further into that. Marathon, Melbourne last year, 2:37:21.
Yeah, so I'm happy that I got a PB, but I think I've got more in me. That race, I got one of the guys up here that does a lot of training with me, and one of my training partners, he paced me for the event, and definitely happy to get there 2:37, and I held on, went through halfway exactly where I needed to be to, I guess I was probably aiming for at least a 2:34, 2:35, but and just held on towards the end, and it was tough and it was gritty, but I was pleased to get a PB, but I definitely think I can probably go a bit quicker.
That 2:37 window sort of this. Not a lot of people are running around that pace. You would have spent a bit of time on your own, I imagine, or? Yeah,
well, I had Alex, my training, one of the guys that trains with me. He literally just ran in front of me the whole way. Yeah, I was super, super grateful to have that. I remember being passed at the 25K by one of the girls to put me back into third place, and then I tried to go with her, but I don't know, with marathon running, you just sometimes you just got to hang on, and that's what I did towards the end of that race.
Yeah, okay. Let's head back to where and when your running began. And you mentioned you grew up in Canberra, and you obviously came up through the Little A's.
Yeah, so I grew up when I was about 4. I moved to Yass, which is just country town, just outside of Canberra.
Okay.
And when I was about 8 years old, I knew I really enjoyed running. When I like the little athletics carnivals at school, I knew that I enjoyed running and I wanted to do a little bit more of it. So I started running with the local sprinkler group. He was a trout farmer, a coach, and he had a few really good sprinters, and I just jumped in with them, and that's how I started to run. But I knew I loved long distance. I just joined in with them, and that probably where I got a bit of my speed from early on, and that's how it all started. And then we joined Ginninderra Little Athletics Club, which is over in the north side of Canberra, and did little athletics every weekend, and met another I didn't kind of coach. That probably didn't happen until I was around 11 or 12. I just ran in Yass before that and did school events. And then when I went to Ginninderra, I met a significant person in my life, Michelle Davis. She was one of the mums that coached, and she was a marathoner herself. And she coached me, and then John Thompson took over, and I ran with stayed in Canberra for a fair few years.
You see your titles, 2004, you won that 3,000 metre steeplechase in Sydney. Now, you ran 10:21 here, and you won by a whopping 36.5 seconds. Now, that was, 2004. So that was a selection race for Athens, but they hadn't added the steeplechase to the Olympic program then. It came 4 years later in Beijing. But nevertheless, you picked up the national title. Tell us about that race.
I just loved running steeple, and the reason why was I think you just it's kind of like obviously I do a lot of trail running as well, and it's the same sort of feeling where you're racing. I feel like you're racing yourself. So and that's kind of what I get in a marathon as well, where you just go out as hard as you can and you just hold on, and that's what I've done in that race. Just go out as hard as I can and just hold on and finish. And whenever you get a national title, like it's, you know, you never, I think that's, you know, always a great feeling. So, but that race just, went out hard and hold on. I'm not a strategic kind of tactical girl. I just, on the track, on the roads, on the trail, I do the same thing. I just go out and I just race as hard as I can.
City to Surf. You've made the local pilgrimage up there, like most of us do. It's a challenging run, that one. Now, you've been pretty successful up there, podiums most time you've raced.
Yep.
So just looking back here, 2016 you ran fourth with a 49.56. 2017 you finished second with a 48.49. 2018 third with a 47.53. And then 2019 third with a 48.52. So obviously, you know, looking at those times, you ran a minute quicker the year before with the same position. So you never know who's going to turn up. But
you don't, yeah.
Yeah, you've run pretty well up there. You must love heading up there as well.
I do. Well, you know, when I was in Canberra, like I would go up quite young. I think I don't know. I don't even know how many I've done. I think I've done 7 or more. But just that whole coming up and just that whole standing on the start line. And if you have like a preferred start or elite start, just seeing everybody, the masses of people, you know, up behind you, up the other street, and up the corporate guys up the other street, and then you're all like standing on the start line getting ready to go down that hill. It's an amazing feeling, and it's an amazing hype, and I think I just, you know, really addicted to that. And then the race itself, you know, where else can you do a road race that just isn't dead flat, right? You know, you're not going for time, you're going for the time on the course, but you're not going for, you know, PBs for your 10K or PBs for your half, or, you know, you're not looking at your splits. You're just going out and you're running really hard and you're running up hills and you're going to hurt. And it's just a really solid, gritty race. And that's what I love about it. And the other thing is like the people that line the streets, like I don't know how many times you've done it, but the people that line the streets, and then there's music playing and people are cheering. It's just, I don't know. The whole thing just has a really good feel about it. And then to finish at Bondi is mad as well. So, I've gone back many, many years for that race just to experience it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a fantastic day, and I think if you have a good city to surf, then generally it means you're in good nick. I always find if I have a good run there, then generally the rest of the year is pretty successful as well, because you know, I mean, you got to be pretty in pretty good nick to run fast and then be able to get up those hills and then still have something left in the legs to bring it home and then smash the downhill to the finish. So yeah, I always get nervous time the line for that one because I know what I'm in for. You know,
that's it. You can't hide on the hills, can you? Like, no, you can't hide fitness. Yeah. You're either on the hills. So if you're not fit or you're not at your peak, you're going to suffer.
yeah, and a lot of people do sort of go backwards on that hill, and you just hope that it's not going to be you that year. But you're feeling fine till you get halfway up that hill, and then you think, what the hell happened to those legs? But I think it's a great event. It's a shame missed out on this year, but next year hopefully.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Definitely. All right, let's talk about those national teams. Now, the first one there, the inaugural half marathon championships over there in Cardiff in Wales in 2018. Was that your first national team?
Yeah. Well, that was like completely unexpected. Like I had run up at, as I said, I'd moved to Dick Telford, the Telford group, and I had, we'd done the 10K at the Goldie, and then entered Sunshine Coast half, which is an awesome event as well if anyone wants to do a good half. We'd entered that and just to see what I could push out for a half, and I ended up going pretty well. I came second in that race. It was the national it was the national championships as well. Second to Sinead, and then I didn't know there was the inaugural half marathon on, and then they gave me a call and asked whether I think they gave Dick a call and asked whether I wanted to be a part of the event. And I said, yes, please. And when it was a bit of a whirlwind, the next, couple of months went over there, and a couple of months later went over there and raced, which was an amazing experience to represent Australia.
Yeah. Did you get to hang out for a bit, or pretty much just do the race and come home, or?
Yeah, so we were there just a couple of days before.
Okay.
Like I've noticed with a lot of these events, like with the Athletics Australia, you just go there, they'll do the flight a couple of days, like, enough to recover.
Yeah.
So maybe they fly the Monday and you're racing the Saturday
or
the Sunday, and just hung around. It's a bit of a trek to Cardiff. Like I didn't realise. I feel like it's like I don't know if you could get much further away. So once we got there, like it was a significant amount of travel, and then just hung out in Cardiff with. There was only 3 girls on the team and 3 guys on the team.
Good course, good competition.
Yeah, that was a heap of fun. So the course itself is, I would even consider going back there just to do a half. It is a fast course. It obviously it's sea level because you're right on the water, and it's just nice and flat. There's a little bit of a hill just to break the stride at the end, but it's amazingly fast. It's a good course. And as far as the competition, that particular race it was. I was pretty much by I didn't have that many girls around me when I was racing. Lots of guys. Because it was a community event, so lots of big great guys kind of supporting you. A few girls to chase and hunt down throughout, and that's what I did. And toward the end, there was I think one of the Scottish girls and the English girls, and to make me have to work hard to the end, and ended up coming 6th in the girls. So it was, and I think we got 2nd in the team because Celia crossed the line 2nd, and it was it was a good event. Definitely one I'd do again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's pretty good. So can you remember which country won?
So it was a Ugandan lady, I think.
Okay.
I think it was. I'm trying to think, was a Kenyan lady or a Ugandan lady. But she won. I just rewatched the race the other day. I think she won in about 70 minutes, and Celia came through in 71, and then I got 72-20, I think, is what I ended up with. Yeah.
That's a good performance. Well done.
Yeah, it was. Well, I don't know. I think you get a little bit of a rise when you put the Australian uniform on. I didn't think I would, but I definitely did. It makes you go a bit harder.
Well, let's talk about the next time you put it on. World Cross over there in Denmark. Obviously, cross-country courses are expected to be brutal.
Yeah.
This one was no different. Hilly, mud, everything you'd expect. That grass roof over that, Musgard Museum? The museum with a big grass roof on it. Similar to what you have here at the Parliament House, isn't it? The grass hill that runs up the roof, yeah.
Yep, 100%. That would probably be a good equivalent.
Yeah. So tell us about that. About the race and the whole experience
that was something else. That was really cool. So I knew the course, like I had word that the course had 75 meters elevation in the 2-kilometer loop. I had just a few weeks before thought, I'll try and replicate that in the national park, and I couldn't. And I'm like, oh my God, that's significant. That is like a significant, like it sounds like nothing. I thought that is probably really significant. So I was a bit, excited to see what the course was like. And then when you pull up and you see what that museum hill looks like, it is, and then you jog the course and it's hard to jog, and you're like, okay, this is going to be an epic course. And then to toe the line with, like, I think, each country is sending 6 athletes, and so, Uganda had a full spread, and so did Kenya and Ethiopia, and to line up with all those ladies was just phenomenal and such an experience. And to be in the same race, Albiri won that race, and to come, I came 40 something, and to finish, 10K in, I think I got like 39 minutes or just under 40 minutes and still come 40th. You're like, oh my God, that course was, there was nowhere to hide, nowhere to rest. You're either going up or down. And when you're possibly I don't even think there was flat on the course, to be honest. It was literally up, down, through mud, through dirt, through some man-made little creek thing, or up a ridiculously steep hill.
Yeah.
But it was so cool. It was
through
really
beer
good.
gardens with heaps of atmosphere.
Oh yeah, you climb up that first hill. I think it was about a few hundred meters, and then you go through this marquee, and that's that. I think that was the beer garden, and so people are cheering there, and the whole course is, had lots of people cheering, and yeah, it was tough. It was really, really tough, but one of my favorite running experiences for sure. And the girls that were a part of the team, they're an amazing bunch, and they all ran really well. And yeah, it was awesome to be a part of.
Yeah, it's a shame Bathurst didn't work for us next year due to COVID, but hopefully in the future we can get one back here. It'd be a shame if we got the World Cross and now we've lost it, but yeah, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going to happen with that. Like, I did wonder. I'm assuming the course is going to, like, if it does end up being in Bathurst, it would be a as hard course, because I was driving in to visit the course, we'd actually one of the guys that was a course organizer, like a accreditor for World Athletics, was on our bus.
Okay.
And it seems like that's going to be the flavour of cross country from now on, which is good. It needs to be different from the track, and it needs to be different from the road. So,
talking about hills, as I mentioned, you live at the foothills there, the Blue Mountains, which means you have access to all those scenic hilly trails up there in the mountains.
Yeah.
Now, you've obviously spent a bit of time slogging around them, because you won 6 foot track at your first go back in 2017.
Yeah, I'll go back. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. It's, incredible event, but yeah, let's talk about that, and I guess we could talk about how you ventured into trail running and that little chapter in your life.
Yeah, so I've always, like, before, as a 20-year-old, I've always, I've been to a few world mountain running champs, so I've always had an affinity to, hills and trails. And after I had Emmy, my daughter, I decided, I wanted to get back into running. I'd had a big break, and, I joined a local club, a local group around here, and then heard of 6 foot. And I knew about 6 foot. It's pretty iconic. And then decided I wanted, I was getting a bit more serious in running. I really wanted to give it a go. And that race is, it's a battleground. It's like you either have a great day, and if you have a bad day, it is the worst day of your life. My brother did it a few years back, and he's a decent runner, and he swears he'll never go back. It is brutal. It's you go really, you go downhill for it's about 15k that you end up, single trailing kind of downhill. And then you got these, I don't know if you've done it, you've got these massive hills, mini Pluvy, and people go really hard. They go really, really hard. And so by the time you get to the top of Pluvy, and you go along this thing called the Black Range, and it is uphill, but it's not crazy uphill. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a 6% gradient probably climb.
Yep.
And it's just carnage. So that's where, if you're having a good day, you pick up everybody on there. And I remember being passed on 6 foot the time I did it. And I'd done a lot of specificity, like I'd done a lot on course. And that's, for a lot of trail races, I think that's super important, is that you know the course. And so I was racing, and I had led the first 15Ks, Cox's River. And then I started going up this really steep hill, mini, and I got passed by Steph Austin. I'm like, damn it, that's my day. I just got to hold in here. That's the win. That's the win gone. Hopefully I can still hold on for a podium. And I just grind it out, and you get into your zone. You know how you can only climb at one speed a lot of the time? Like, you just got to grind it out, and you'd know from running the trails in Canberra. So I was just grinding up this hill. And 4 kilometres later, or 5 kilometres later, just as we entered this Black Range where it's carnage, I saw Steph, and I'm like, oh, hello, okay, I'm good, I'm feeling good. And that's when I passed her, and the rest, I managed to take the win, which was very pleased to get under 4 hours. That's like a little, tick in the box for 6 foot. Everyone tries to get under 4 hours, so I was happy with 3:50, and hopefully I'll go back and again and try and get a bit quicker. I think the record's 3:34, 35, held by Hanny. So I'd like to go back and have a crack at that one day.
Yeah, wow, 3:35. That's
it's
fast.
quick.
I mean, 3:50 is fast too. Yeah, I was going to ask you. I mean, obviously, you won on your first attempt. Were you getting a lot of sort of advice from people who'd done it before of how to train, how to prepare? As you mentioned before, you weren't actually training on the actual course, which helps a lot. But were you sort of thinking the philosophy of you just got to get used to banging up your legs on that downhill so they're prepared to be able to run quick on the uphill?
Yeah, 100%. Like I had done like most weekends were like the 6-7 weekends leading up to 6 foot. I went out on the course for my long run. So it's just conditioning. You do, because you got to know how hard to go on that downhill so you don't completely ruin it for that uphill. So I did it like a tempo down to Cox's River, so I knew how it would feel when I go fast, and then just knew every part of the course, and it was really important. And when I wasn't training on that, then I was training in Glenbrook National Park on the Oaks Trail. It's it's this trail that goes all the way up to Woodford, and it's a good alternative because you can turn around and run a significant amount of Ks downhill and get that downhill conditioning.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so for
is it like single track or a fire trail, you mean?
No, it's fire trail. Yeah,
okay,
fire trail. Yeah. So, no, you got to have the downhill conditioning 100% because otherwise your legs just blow up.
Yeah. Did you run in a trail shoe or just a normal road shoe?
I did run in a trail shoe. Yeah, I do. Only because of the single trail in at the start, the first 15K, and then a little bit at the end. I ran in. Yeah, I did run in a trail shoe, and if I did it again, I probably would. But on the fire trail, obviously, I run in a road shoe mostly.
Yeah. Have you had a go at the UTA?
Yeah, I did UTA 22, but it was on a whim, and I did come fourth, but it was did I come fourth? I think I did, but it was a terrible run. I ran really badly, so I'd like to go back and do the 22 again and have a real crack. I know the course super well. Yeah, have you done it?
I've done the 50 a few times, so I guess I've done the 22 in that course. But I mean, I guess it's similar too because you've got in the 22, you're pretty much just smashing yourself on the downhill, then you've got to come up again.
And the issue with UTA is the stairs too.
Sure.
The stairs, they're a killer. But no, I'd like to go back and do some of those events as well. Maybe the 50 one year, maybe the 50. Yeah,
it's similar to what you spoke about with the 6 foot. It's one of those days. If you're having a good day, then you pass a lot of people. They're having a bad day. It's the longest day of your life. So
isn't it just? Yeah.
it's terrible. I genuinely have more of those bad days than good. But that's why you enjoy the good days when they come along.
Well, that's it.
Yeah. Now, look, you had a bit of hiatus from running a few years ago, and you sort of got heavily involved in CrossFit, and you sort of found your running mojo again. When you came back, I assume that's when you got in contact with Dick Telford.
Yeah, so I trained with a local fella, Brendan Davies, for a little while, and that was really helpful. Got me, back into it, and I had some good results. And but then I've still got Canberra friends, and Chapo, Michael Chapman, had come up to the Blue Mountains for a bit, and he's like, Marnie, why don't you just go train with Dick? And I had always knew who Dick was, but never thought he would coach me. I knew him from the Canberra days, knew of him, didn't know him. And I just gave him a call, and he said, well, come down to Canberra and have a run. So I did, and then he said, yeah, I'll coach you. So, because he's coaching me online, and he doesn't coach too many people that he doesn't know online. So I came down there and kind of spent the weekend just running as hard as I could, and he said he'd coach me, and then was super pleased because I just wanted to take it to the next level. So I just needed, he's a smart guy, and I needed his help.
He's a great man. You can't go too wrong having him looking after you.
That's it.
Was that specifically to chase a faster marathon time, or when you saw Dick, it's like sit down, we're going to start talking about running good marathon rather than just overall running? It was about the marathon?
Yeah, purely about the marathon. So I just really, I don't think definitely haven't done my potential in the marathon, and that's the goal. So I just, Dick's such a great coach. So went to him, and he's helping me get there, hopefully.
So with Dick, I guess you'd be running, reasonable mileage, like 160k weeks and that sort of thing.
Yep. So he likes the Ks, and I like the Ks too. So we work well together with that fact. So when I'm on a 10k program, which I'm on now, I do 160, and then when we go to a marathon block, I'll go up. Before Melbourne, we went to 175, but I think I can probably go a touch higher. I think for the next one, I'll talk to him. But I think I could probably go 180. But 175 we go up to. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about those weeks because shift work, mum. Like how you doing? Obviously you're running doubles and that, but like
doubles.
So just run us through it.
You just got to get it done. Like you can't procrastinate. So right. So what I do is I mainly work evenings, right? So I wake up at the summer kills you, but I'll do my first session around 8. I drop the kids off at school, or I get mum to come up and she'll drop them off at school, and I just get them ready, and then I go out for my first session.
So how old are the kids now? Sorry.
6 and 8.
Okay. Yep. Right.
Yeah. So get them ready. Mum takes them to school. I do the first session. And then I come home, I have a quick something to eat, and then I nap for 30 minutes. And then I wake up and I jump on, I might jump on the treadmill for the double. So I have to do between, 5 to 10 kilometers for the double, or 5 to 8 kilometers. And jump on the treadie, or if I might meet someone else, like one of the local fellas, mates that I know for a double run that likes to run easy with me. And then, have a shower, go straight to work, and then I come home by 11, and then I do it all 11:30 at night, and then I do it all again. And that's marathon training. I just do that continually. Yeah. It becomes very routine. Treadmill is amazing because it's an opportunity that I can do Ks and not be away from the house for double runs. That's a real lifesaver for me. I do a lot of double runs on the treadie. But I just got to be really routine and not deviate from the routine. Otherwise, you just can't get the kilometers in.
So that's the structure for getting the volume up. But what about actually doing specific, sessions? Or obviously you'd be doing weekend long runs, midweek long runs.
Yeah. Oh, so what I usually do is Monday's easy, Tuesday's a session. Do you want for a marathon lead in or? Yeah,
let's go marathon lead in. Yeah.
All right. So Tuesday's pre-Melbourne. It's. So I might do mile reps. Mile reps is a big favourite of Dick's. I do a lot of mile reps. So, 5 mile reps and then 200s at the end off 130-minute recovery kind of thing. Yep. And then Wednesday's midweek long run. So I'm on a 10K program right now. So it's like a 20K run, but midweek long run usually for me is 25K. And I'll still double on that day. So I'll still do another little run before I go to work. And Thursday, when I'm marathon training, I go to 2 sessions a week. Right now, I'm on back to 3, but so you do a traditional session on Thursday. But so right now, I'm doing a sub-threshold run kind of thing at 12K with 200s at the end. But just traditionally for marathon, on the Friday, I would do a session. So I would go easy Thursday. And the session might be at least 10 to 15 kilometers at marathon pace, kind of like a threshold run.
Yep.
And then Saturday's easy unless I'm on 10K program like I am today, this week, and it's 1K reps. And then Sunday, again, is often a session. So I usually, when I'm leading into a marathon, it will be 35K with the last 15K best effort. And you're trying to get to that marathon pace. And then for 10K training, it's 25K on the hills, and you're really just working the hills quite hard. So that's the structure. And then I double whenever I can, whenever it works in with work, and when I can, I try and double. So I double most days though.
Yeah.
It works for me to double most days. 5 to 8K. And the usual session days, they're upwards of 25K, 20K anyway, especially when you're training for a marathon. So you're getting a lot of work done in the morning. So that's the structure of it. So
and ex-CrossFit, you must be in strength and conditioning. Are you doing some of that as well? Or?
Oh yeah, so twice a week I do strength and conditioning. So I've got my own little gym set up. Sometimes I go up. My partner's still a member of that gym, so I go up our local CrossFit. They're like a little community, so I go up there and do. I don't lift heavy weights now because that's I think the really heavy weights are pretty detrimental to performance. But yeah, I do a strength specific kind of stuff. So I know where my niggles are, and I just work on getting all those flattened out and working on, activating the right muscles. And I do that through CrossFit style kind of workout.
All right. So with the women's marathon as it stands today, we've got Sinead Diver, 2:24:11. Lisa Waitman, 2:25:15. Ellie Pashley, 2:26:21. So that's all under that 2:29:30. So they're the girls sitting in those three spots. But obviously there's a couple of girls floating around who are hoping to take one of those spots. Now, opportunity is not too great the way things are sitting. We've got the window finishing on May 31, but domestically we've got Hobart and Canberra a week apart, with Hobart being Easter Sunday and Canberra a week later in April 11. Now, is that something that you would consider, seeing there's not much else to choose from? And if so, what would your aim be in those marathons?
Well, I know that I'm not going to run the 2:26. So for me, for this year and next year, my focus is doing a PB. And what I want is I want 2:30 or below. So that's what I'm aiming for.
Yep.
So for me, Canberra and Hobart aren't probably options that I would do. Mainly Canberra is at altitude. It's small, but so I'm not pressed to get a fast time in a particular, because those spots are I don't think I've got a chance to make that team. So I'm just going to focus on trying to get as fast as I can, and maybe some more opportunities will come later on. So for me, we're waiting and seeing what kind of happens, and if the right marathon comes up, and I'll try and get a start in that. But I want to do it on a course that is a PB course, so I'll just wait for that. I'm not that interested in just going for wins and things like that. Like, I really want to, if I'm going to hit a marathon, I want it to be for worth something to me, which is trying to get that personal goal of running 2:30 or below. So
so you run a 2:37. So your next attempt, would you be running on a time? Would you be trying to think, okay, let's start with a 2:32 and then go from there? Or
no? So I've talked to Dick about this, and we think the next attempt is to run the pace from the start, the pace that I want to, what we think we're capable of, which, you don't quite know until you're kind of leading, a couple of weeks out. But that would be the aim, is to just go for it and hope it turns out, rather than being conservative, which I was in Melbourne at the start. Yeah.
So, I mean, Hobart and Canberra aren't fast courses.
No.
So hopefully those girls who are trying to grab one of those spots can find something that's a little bit quicker. Is there anything that you know about that might be around that they can actually grab?
No. Not that I know. No. So I think the managers are looking for things, and there might be something coming out, but no.
I think Japan's looking at Japanese runners only. So
Japanese runners only, and then everything else is cancelled, and
everything's been pushed to post-Olympics. So it makes it tricky, doesn't it?
Really tricky. So I'm interested to see how it pans out for them. Whether my question that I often might be controversial, but why doesn't Athletics Australia put something on?
Definitely, yeah.
But,
everyone's saying that. I'm hoping the people who can make these decisions are also listening and thinking about it as well, or even maybe make Hobart and Canberra a little bit faster. You know what I mean?
Well, or just find a cooler multi-lap and invite a field. I don't know, but that's what I think should happen, because it's just becoming too hard, and it's hard for people, and it's hard in you don't want to expose people to COVID either, so don't make them go overseas. Put something on, and they're not going to. So that's my thought on it. No, have a US style race. Why not have a US style race where the first three go? There's lots of options, and I hope they're thinking about creating something.
I hope so too. I guess it all depends what you think of the professionalism of Athletics Australia and where you think they can pull that together. But even if they have to get people on board, and to organise it for them, and they can just brand it or whatever they have to do. But yeah, it would be fantastic if something like that got up and running for sure. There's no reason why they can't do it. That's the thing.
And I feel like there's so many companies that would support it. There's well, obviously I'm sponsored by Hocker, and they would, there's lots of different companies that would love to support that, just love running, and you could create something out of it. But every other country seems to be able to do it. But yeah, it's
I just think it'd be good for the sport as well.
How good would it be for the sport? And distance running in Australia, people love it, and they just need to, recognize. Yeah, it would be great for the sport. Awesome.
Yeah.
There's so much interest.
A lot of money being thrown around Athletics Australia at the moment, so hopefully it can get channeled in the right areas.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so between now and your next marathon, whatever that may be, obviously you mentioned you're on the 10K plan at the moment, so trying to get those legs turn over quicker and get faster, which is always a good way to run a fast marathon. If you're running a quick 10 and 5, usually you're running a very good marathon, so I can see the strategy behind that. Yeah. So are you looking at racing or like on the track or some road races over the 5s and 10s or halves before your next marathon, or possibly even Zatopek on Australia Day?
Well, I'm definitely doing Launceston. I'm going. Okay. I made the decision last week that with a field like that, and it's a fast course, I think.
Is that the 10 or the half?
I'm doing the 10. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So I'll do the 10 there. I think it's too good an opportunity not to line up and just.
It's so deep, isn't it? It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I saw the field and I'm like, oh my god, I'm
got to be part of that.
Got to be in that. So I'm entered that. So that's the next race.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, December 13th, was it?
Yeah, December 13th. Yeah, so it should be a good one. Fingers crossed.
And is there anything else after that in the new year that you've sort of got in the diary, or?
No, I don't. I think we're just waiting to see, because what the plan would be is to find a marathon 3 months out and then start a 12-week block. But I just gotta wait for it. So just being patient.
So are you thinking of running Zatopek then on Australia Day or not?
I think I'll see how Launceston goes.
Okay. Yep.
I'm a bit burnt from the 10K track. I know that one day I'll get it, and one day it'll be the best day of my life.
Yeah.
A little bit burnt. I just have had some not so great runs. So maybe.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, running's one of those weird things, isn't it? You have the perfect prep and you think you're going to have a great one and it doesn't. Then you just turn up with this relaxed attitude and you have a blinder. So you never know. You never know.
So, I might do it. Just, I guess it all depends on how Launceston goes, and I'll make a decision after that,
All right, Marnie, let's talk about the reason why you actually stepped away from running and then got involved into CrossFit.
So I was running, I had moved up to the Blue Mountains, and I was in the Air Force, and I was running with a local chap here as a coach, and he was coaching like Mel Vernon, and I was running with them, and you know what? I just started to get niggles, and I'd never really got niggles, and I had I was getting up out of bed and my plantar fascia was on fire and my groin was on fire and I couldn't walk and I couldn't run, but I was still running, and I just kind of had it. I just lost the passion, and I was like, I'm not I'm traditionally, if I have a niggle, I'm not the girl that goes like and smashes themselves on a different device. Like if I can't run, then I'm not interested. I just I rest up.
So when was this? Give us the month and year we're talking about.
Oh, so that would have been, God, everything merges into one. Well, Emmy is 8, and then it would have been probably a good 3 years before Emmy. So we're looking at like 10, 11 years.
Okay,
Does that sound right?
Yep.
Does that sound right? Yeah, 10 years. We'll go 10 years.
Right, yeah.
So I just had it. I just, I'd done a few races, but I was niggly, and I just kind of lost passion for running. So I gave up. I said, no, that's it. I'm not doing it. And I tried a bit of cycling and stuff, but I enjoyed cycling, but it's crazy dangerous. And and then I just stumbled across the local CrossFit gym. Like I drove up like where they are, and I saw these people like in a shed, because it's always in a warehousey kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I saw them just like throwing med balls, like throwing slam balls around and doing some really cool stuff. And then I rang them up and did a trial, and I loved it, and I just got into it, and it just ticked all my workout boxes. Like you smashed at the end, you're working really hard, you're kind of really working against yourself. There's 1,000 PBs that you can go for. Every single movement has a PB. The combination of movements have personal bests. So there's so much, and then you retest and test. So you're always conscious of improvement. And then I just love that. And then I kind of got I did that, and I was doing it heaps, and I was getting really strong, but not strong enough, obviously. Those girls are machines.
Just explain to us what the basic structure of this CrossFit is. Is that like if you went from one CrossFit class from in Adelaide or Sydney or Brisbane, there would be similarities between it? Is there a certain 100%, structure?
100%.
Okay.
So it's Olympic lifting combined with gymnastic movement. So it's your ring muscle-ups and your handstand push-ups and bar muscle-ups and all that kind of stuff. And it's those two things kind of combined into one, and then it's high intensity, right? So that's what it is. So, and CrossFit, and then they've got all these different workouts that are created. They've got the girls, which is like they're all named after girls, and then they've got the guys. And not the guys, they've got the hero words, which are harder again. And then they're also combining running and cycling and rowing into all of these.
So you're doing a certain movement within, like, is it against the clock? Like you're doing certain repetitions in the clock?
All right. So usually like a class, that people can run them differently. You start off the class and you might have a lift that you're doing, and that's the strength component, right? So you might have a snatch, and you might be doing a heavy 5, or you might be doing 5 times 5 at 60% or something. So you do your strength component. And then the next part of the workout is often the WOD, so the workout of the day. Now that's created by whichever coach runs your box, your gym, right? So they create the program. So a workout of the day is usually, it can be an AMRAP, which is as many reps as possible within a certain time frame, like you said, or it could actually be a workout. A known workout like the girls, or it could be a big chipper where you got all of this movement and you've got a time cap to get it through. And those movements will often, they'll have Olympic lifts in them, and they'll have like deadlifts, or they'll have dumbbell work, and then a gymnastics component, and it's high intensity training. And you just do the workout, and then you're dead at the end, and then that's it. And that's the end of the day.
So you'd be doing a different exercise to the person next to you? Is it like a circuit where you're doing different pieces of equipment?
No.
Or
okay, no. I'll give you a workout so like one workout might be like Isabel, which is 30 snatches for time. Yeah. With and they do a recommended weight, so they do the weight that it should be at. But that doesn't mean you have to do that. Like you scale it to your thing. Or you might do an event where you might have 20 minutes on the clock, and you've got to do 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 30 air squats, right? And you do those 3 movements, you do them like that for 25 minutes, and it's how many repetitions you get or how many rounds you get. Okay. So everyone's doing the same thing. Unless you can't do the movement and you scale it, you do something so that you can do.
And is it a different level of classes? You can't imagine you have someone just walking off the street, never lifted anything, have no idea about, body.
Well, that's the thing. So you scale it. So that particular, you all start at the same time, and if it's a clock, you all finish at the same time. Yeah. But so where I might do a snatch with some weight on it, they might just be snatching the baby bar, or even like a broom, just going through the movement. So everything gets scaled so it's inclusive. Yeah. That's what it taught me, is like really inclusiveness to sport.
Yeah. And obviously some people would need help out with their technique of how to lift properly. There'd be someone there that's
you've always got that's why they often do a strength component at the start, because that's what you're working on, is technique. Yeah. And you've got your coach there. There's a coach there, and the classes aren't that big, and they fix you up.
With the boom box pumping away, or
oh yeah,
yeah.
There's a lot of music.
No, that's good. That's good. I mean, obviously that would carry over so much into running. I mean, as you know, us distance runners are pretty quick to just push that gym session out of the way and not bother getting around to do it, or we only do it when we're injured and then we rehab and then we're back to running again and we forget all about it. But having that training and that knowledge would be so beneficial for yourself. As you mentioned, you still do 2 sessions a week, but pre-CrossFit and then post, and so during it, I guess was what I'm trying to say. What did you learn that you've taken into your running that you felt is, very beneficial, something you need to continue to do to maintain your strength as a distance runner?
I think it taught me body awareness is the main thing. So, it taught me about my core, and then it taught me how to activate, how muscles are meant to activate to work, right? So I think previously, I'd just go for a run and I wouldn't care, and then stuff would hurt, but I wouldn't care. But it kind of, what it taught me is now if I feel tightness somewhere, I know why. I can work it out, and I can work out where the deficiency is, and then I can work on that deficient area to kind of, so I don't progress to an injury. It just maintains as a niggle and then goes away. But that's what it taught me. It taught me about my muscles, and it taught me how to activate all those different muscles with all the different movements. And then that's what I bring into my strength training now, is that I'm able to activate the muscles that I know I need to become a better runner. So that's what I learned the most body awareness.
Yep. No, that's gold. That's fantastic. Now you're running Hockers. Tell us about that. Now, obviously, trail and road. There's lots of talk in shoes these days. I mean, regardless about talking about brands and all the rest of it, I do like what they're doing with the shoe. I guess Nike did sort of advance the technology because they put everyone under the pump, under pressure to catch up. And the midsoles, I just love the midsoles. I guess what I'm trying to get at. Forget about, I mean, the plates are good, but when I go for a run now, the shoes just feel better. They feel more responsive and all the rest of that. But yeah, Hocker's been around for a while. Use that heavy stack weight, and I have never run in them, but yeah, they've obviously moved into. I guess they always started off trail. I always knew them as a trail shoe, but now they're into the road running scene, and I don't know. Do they even do spikes? Do they even do track shoes?
Yeah, they do.
Okay,
yeah, they do. But see, the thing is with I don't think like the general public know about all the shoes that they actually do create, because I think like initially I remember going back to Canberra and going to one of the running shops, and all they had was like the Bondi. Now I don't really run in the Bondi that much at all. Like that's not a performance shoe. It's
like the Brooks Beast, isn't it? It's like really heavily engineered and
it's not so. But Hocker itself has a huge range of shoe, and they're releasing some really great stuff. But it's lightweight, but you look at it and you do see that significant amount of pad. But I think it's been proven pad is not bad.
Yeah.
I think Nike did that, prove to everyone that pad is not bad. So I love running in my Hockers, and I think they do help me not be injured. Because I definitely have, since moving to Hocker, I've had very minimal injuries, and definitely minimal lower leg injuries. So I love it. Look, they've got I wear cross country spikes, I wear normal spikes, I've got the obviously my races, and then I've got 2 types of carbon plate shoes to choose from. If I'm doing a longer session that I know I can't change shoes and it's 25k, well I've got a shoe that I choose for that. Rather than being a really, really, really aggressive racer kind of thing. And as far as recovery shoes, they've got great recovery shoes. So, if I go for an easy run, I'll wear a Clifton because I know that my legs are just going to love it and it's not going to be a battle. And then some other, if I don't wear a carbon plate but I want a more tempo shoe, they've got some really great things on the horizon. They've got the Rincon obviously, but they've got a new shoe that's coming out that I've been running in that's phenomenal. Great.
Yeah.
So I've got only positive things to say because I actually like the shoe for me. Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, if someone gave you a shoe and you didn't like it, you'd be silly to be wearing it, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You know, yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for giving your time, Marnie. I'm really interested to see how the Marnie story continues, especially in road marathon running. I'm glad you've stepped up to challenge yourself over that distance. I think most runners always want to eventually get to the marathon. Some of us put it off as long as we possibly can, but yeah, no, look, it's really, I think you and Dick, I think Dick genuinely gets the best out of all their athletes, and sounds like you've got the right mindset and the right attitude. So really looking forward to seeing how that goes. Best of luck down there at Lornie. It's going to be a great weekend.
Cheers. Yeah,
I think it's going to be fantastic. Like I said, the depth's going to be there, and I think everyone's so excited to be pinning that number back on again. So it should be fantastic. Yeah,
it'll be amazing. I can't wait.
Yep. Yes, get through this heat this weekend. We're 42, 43 up there. Yeah, do your best. Like I said, all the best, and really looking forward to seeing what the future holds for you, Marnie.
Oh, cheers. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. And do you mind if I just whack a bit of a follow link over there to an Instagram account or something? Or
yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. All right.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye, man.